Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Carlsbad Report. My name is Steve Olson. Happy Monday morning. The temperatures are finally I feel like we're finally getting out of the heat. And in fact, I read a story a little while ago that historically this was the coldest summer on record in Southern California. I don't know what parts of California, but if you guys are interested in that story, I'll post it in the comments below. Just let me know and you can take a look at that. Didn't feel like the coldest summer ever. Didn't feel like an overly hot one. However, yes, a very dry one. We did get rain the other day, which is great. We need more rain. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Okay, a couple cool things we're going to talk about today. A lot of these stories, like the number one thing that comes through my inbox in regards to Carlsbad real estate, by far the number one thing is, when is this market going to shift? When is it going to be such a great deal to buy a home that it would make like absolute crazy sense not to buy real estate? And I got news for you. It's probably going to be a while. A while meaning a couple years. So the people that we're seeing transacting right now are people that have to and that really want to, not because it necessarily makes financial sense, although it doesn't make not financial sense to move. It's just, if you've got a 3% interest rate and a lot of equity in your home, you're probably not super motivated to sell that home. And in fact, in most cases, we're telling people, if you can, rent that home out and see if there's a way that you can either pull the equity out of the home or save for the down payment of the next home, because that 2.875 to 3.5% interest rate is going to beat inflation for a very long time. And that's going to help. So I found this story. Somebody sent this to me over the weekend. It wasn't a question, just like, hey, is this type of stuff still happening? And this was posted on Realtor.com. The 10 zip codes where home prices have fallen the most since 2024, including a pricey Florida hotspot. Like, you like that little, like, hey, come look at me really quick. But if you scroll down, you got a place in New Jersey, some place in Illinois, and boom, Carlsbad, California, 92009. The median home list price was $1,199,000, which is a 25% decrease year over year. Now, this was written back in April. But if you do enough research, you can find enough of these articles all over the place. And they mention, San Diego and Encinitas and all of that stuff. There's a couple market dynamics that I would really understand about Carlsbad, California, if you're worried about the fluctuation over where the market's going. Number one, with the exception of some infill projects, we are landlocked. And what that means is, when the market expands, we cannot expand real estate with it. We can build vertical. There's infill stuff that we can do. There are still, quite a few parcels that can be built on in Carlsbad. There's a lot of redevelopment going on right now. A lot of single family custom homes. There are still quite a bit of half acre lots that have been untouched over the years. Half acre to 3 acre lots, actually, quite a few. If you're interested in learning more about how to acquire one of those and build a home, there's still plenty of opportunity for that. But by and large, we are a landlocked community, which means we can only build up and we can only rebuild. We cannot build out, which is really good for long-term, residential resale. The other big thing that we have for us is we have the ocean. So there's not a whole lot of cities have the ocean bordering the west side of the city, which is great. Something that you need to understand about Carlsbad, though, we can see these wild fluctuations, of 25%, because at the time when this was written, our inventory was crazy low. And it's important to understand this because a couple high listings and a couple low listings can significantly change the numbers. And I don't know actually, let's do this really quick. Let's go into our MLS. I already have this pulled up for our listings here. We're going to go let's go to CRMLS. And then I'll pull this up just so you guys don't have to bore. I should have thought of this before we went live, but we actually can look at what those numbers were back then. And so if we go to 92009, there it is right there, and we go to median sales price. Let's go to median sale. Oops. Switch that over to, I keep doing that. It's median sales price. Okay, so we have, let's go back 3 years. So if we go back to April of sales price median, now keep it, you guys are looking at the actual MLS right now. This is not a graph that we own or anything like that. So according to our system, April in 2025, or April in 2024, the median sales price for a home was $1,737,500. Now, I want you to remember that number really quick because it's really important. If we go to September of 2025, April of 2025, sorry, where are we at? April. We're $1,430,000. So $1,430,000 to $1,737,000. So I'm going to write that down. 1,737, $1,430,000. That's a $300,000 dip, which is going to be about 25%. So if I take out our calculator right here and let's do some quick math, they're actually going to be pretty close. But I'm gonna debunk this for you here in a second. So 1,430,000 divided by 1,737. I'm coming up with 18%. Is that right? 82%. Yeah, 18% drop, give or take. So the numbers they're a little off. It's nothing crazy, right? Relative. And again, this is residential. If we go all property types, like there's a whole bunch of ways we can manipulate this data. But here's what I want you to understand. If we know that the median sales price in April of 2024 is 1,737,500 and in 25 is 1,430,000. Now what I want to do is I want to go look at new listings. Check this out. And I did not look at this before this. 77 listings in April 2024, 69 listings. So there were 8 less listings. And you're like, oh, Steve, that's a big deal. Like eight listings. Well, listen, that's over 10% of the market. So if 3 of those listings were 3 million plus that didn't relist in April of the following year, that number is going to be wildly skewed. So when I look at these news articles that say like Carlsbad's dropping 25% year over year and we're in a free fall, listen, you guys can clearly see if we go back to where we are, let's go to sales price and let's go to average. The average sales price, if we just look at a straight line, like there's our average sales price per year, right? Average sales price in 2023 for now, this is everything condos and townhomes, apartments or not apartments, condos, townhomes, single family, land, all of that, all attached, detached, all property subtypes. Average sales price was $1,295,000 in 2023, $1,616,905 in 2024, and $1,688,565. So it's really important when you look at this data not to form conclusions because Carlsbad is not a very high velocity market. Now, if I was looking at San Diego County as the entire market, that's a different story because there's enough data in there to look at the median and the average sales price and the days on market and all that stuff. San Diego County makes a big difference, right? Just so you know, the total number of closed sales per month, check that out. This is September total closed sales per month. So in September of 2023, there were 56. September in 2024, there were 76. September in 2025, there were only 74. Let's look at San Diego County. I mean, look at that, 3544, 3761, 4153. So again, if I was a news company, and I wanted to tell a story about how San Diego was getting better, I could tell that story. If I wanted to tell a story on how San Diego was suffering, I could tell that story, right? I can make numbers tell you almost any story that I want. So when you read these headlines, and I know you guys are reading these because you're sending them to me. And by the way, if you guys have a question about Carlsbad real estate, on the bottom of all these videos is Steve Olson Group / SteveOlsonGroup.com /ask. That's how you ask these questions. And then I'll send you the video after we air that, so you can get those questions answered. It's important to understand that the only job of news people, and kind of like our only job, is to sell real estate, right? I would love if we got 10 million views on all these videos, but that's not our goal. My goal is to help educate you guys on this stuff. They can tell whatever story they want to get as many clicks as they want. And sometimes it's in their best interest, not all the time. Sometimes it's in their best interest for just crazy doom and gloom. Because we know that doom and gloom right now, it sells, right? People, they pay attention, it gets more clicks. That's definitely how all this stuff happens. So don't freak out if you see these numbers. They're going to continue to come out because everybody has a rhetoric. Everybody, has a story they want to tell. And it's really important that they get their views. Okay. So that's don't freak out if you read these stories that Carlsbad took a drop. Statistically speaking, and again, we can go to the whole city of Carlsbad. And there you go. So total closed sales, we're down, we're almost flat, right? We're down 0.5% year over year as it pertains to September. Total closed sale, that's closed sales. This is closed sides. So a side is a listing side and a buyer side. That's why the numbers are double. Average sales price, look at that. Year over year, we're within $300 of where we were last year. Carlsbad as a market in general. We're down a little bit over inventory, right? So we had 134 homes listed last year in September. This year we only had 116. So inventory is dropping right now. Percent to average list price. On average, I'll touch the iPad right here. We're selling for, I think as this number goes up, so this means like if you listed your home for $1 million, it's sold for $983,000, right? 98.3% of that list price of the original list price. When this number goes up, that tells me that people that are selling their home right now are more realistic now than they were a year ago. That's all that tells me. They're more realistic now than they were a year ago. So I'll put this story in the notes below. I mean, it's literally like, and again, this is why I tell you not to worry about this stuff. Carlsbad is located along the beach just north of San Diego. It is known for its 55-acre flower fields garden and Legoland. No, we are not. We are not known for our 50, like, sure, if you know nothing about Carlsbad whatsoever, like, and you fly over, you're going to see Legoland and you're going to see all these flowers. But I don't know about you guys, like, we're ranked as the second best public school system in the country. In the country, right? We have some of the highest per capita job earnings in the entire state of California. Our real estate, like there's a lot that Carlsbad is known for. It's not just the crazy attractions of who comes here for 3 days from Vegas or Phoenix because it's too hot. Like as you guys know, Carlsbad is much different of a market. So I'll put that story below. Let's continue on. Let me interrupt this episode really quick and let you know that if you're considering purchasing a home in the next 1, 2, 3, 9, 12 months, we have a cheater guide that will let you know every single thing that you need to know to buy your next home in Carlsbad, California. Even if the home is not on the market right now, we have options for you. It's totally free. You can download everything, including a sample purchase contract, so you can be completely prepared to move forward. So go to steveolsongroup.com/buy or click the link in the description below. All right, let's get back to the episode. Okay, our first question is a great question today. Big Mike, I love that you put Big Mike in the comments. I don't know if you're actively doing this right now, or maybe you're already like in the process of selling the home. And I don't know if your home's in Carlsbad, but if it's in Carlsbad, we definitely should talk. Questions, question we get all the time, right? And it's not an oxymoron. Some people may think it is, and Mike, that's where I think you were probably going with this. Is it possible to sell my home super fast but still get the highest price? And the answer would be yes. It's all in the positioning, though. And what I mean the positioning, people want what they can't have. And this is like sales influence and persuasion 101. So your real estate agent, hopefully it's us, Big Mike. If it's not, I totally understand, no hard feelings. Your real estate agent needs to do a whole bunch of marketing up front before it hits the market, both within their office, both within their agent network. There should be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube ads that go out, direct mail, like canvassing the entire neighborhood, doing some, like there's a lot of guerrilla marketing things you can do in the neighborhood to kind of get people like prepared to see this listing. Most agents, Mike or Big Mike, are really focused on getting that sign up as soon as they can because they believe the quicker the sign goes up, the quicker they can get calls. But then that momentum dies really quick. So if speed is important to you, then all of the money that you put in the preparation, all of the marketing that you do, the agent that you hire, it's going to be super important. Now, what I would not do on speed is I would not talk to a real estate agent on Monday and list on Wednesday and expect to have an offer on Saturday. We're in the fourth quarter right now on a market right now that's kind of on the balance. Like we're in a really good market in Carlsbad. I know like you guys, like there's a lot of people telling me like, oh, when are we going to get back to the good days? Listen, nobody makes money in a 3% market. The banks don't make money. Homeowners don't make money. You're like, well, sure, we make money. The mortgage payment's cheap. There are quite a lot of people right now in the market that have a ton of equity right now that are stuck. They can't move because if they reposition that equity into another home, sure, they can get in with no money down and they can 1031 that in or roll that over with the homestead exemption or, owner occupant, all that stuff. And they can get in with no money down. What you're forgetting is that home is more expensive than when they bought that home 5, 6, 10, 15 years ago, right? So that's first one, even though they've got a big down payment to put down. And their rate's going to go from 3% to 6.5%. So that payment is going to double with a mortgage balance that's probably going to be pretty close to what they have right now. So there's a lot of people that maybe do want to make the move right now, but they're house rich and they're stuck in that home. Right. So what we don't want to do is what we want to do rather, Mike, is we want to make sure that we position the home effectively. We want to make sure that we create as much competition and scarcity and drive for that home as possible. That way, when it does hit the market, you have a flood of people that come in. And ideally, if you do it right, we've got two people that write an offer on the home. And when two people write an offer on the home, the price tends to go up. If only one person writes an offer on the home, congratulations, you have an offer. That's amazing. But just understand that price is going to get negotiated down. List exactly where you think it's going to sell for or under, right? The more that you, and I think our next question is going to talk about this. I'll talk about this here in a second. When you list a little bit under and you do the marketing right, then it drives a frenzy for the home. That's what we want, right? When you list the home under market, but there's no marketing and there's no like guerrilla stuff that happens, and then it hits the market. If you do it wrong, then the potential buyers that are working with real estate agents or people that are on Zillow all the time are getting, homes stripped from them from their existing agent. uh, they start to look at the home and they're like, oh, what's wrong with that home? Like it's priced a little low. Is there something we don't know about? So it's not just about pricing low, hoping to cause a frenzy. Like it's pricing a little under market and the marketing of that, like that and conditions a big component to this. When you get all three of those things right, Big Mike, not Mike, the homes typically tend to sell for a record. And in fact, we'll have a little ad that plays in this video. You guys can go to steveolsongroup.com/sell. And then you can download that entire 4-step process of how to prepare that home for a record breaking sale. But I think it's all in the preparation. So if you mean fast, Big Mike, meaning like the day it hits the market, you want to be under contract within 7 days, then I would invest most of my time in preparation. If you mean fast in the sense of today's Monday, October 20th, and I need to meet with an agent today and put it on the market tomorrow, you can still have success. There are things that we would do. However, you're kind of rolling the dice on the success of that listing. So if that answers it, great. If not, Big Mike, then email me below, team@steveolsongroup.com. Clarify that question. I'll take it again on this, and I'll answer you directly. Hope that makes sense. Okay, our next question comes from Mindy. Mindy did not put where she was from in the form. So, Mindy, you could be in Lincoln, Nebraska. You could be in San Francisco, California, Miami, Florida, or Carlsbad, California. So I hope this answers it correctly. I kind of alluded to this earlier. And Mindy's question was, if I'm interviewing realtors, how do I know the best questions to ask? And she clarified this question by saying, like, I've met with multiple real estate agents. They all say they're, been in the business a long time. They all say they have buyers. They all have like, a marketing plan that they feel will sell the home. So like, what should I be asking to help determine like, the best from the rest? There's two things that I would be focused on right now. Number one, and this would probably be in second order, but I'm going to give it to you first. I would hire the real estate agent, or I would ask the real estate agent questions along the lines of, can you identify that you and him or you and her are going to work really well together? And there's like a code of trust and honesty between the two of you. We've all met with salespeople, whether it's cars or insurance or mortgage or real estate, where you can just tell the only thing they want is the deal. At the expense of everything else, the only thing they want is a deal. That is not somebody you probably want to work with, right? So the questions that you would ask to identify that trust factor and how they communicate with you when they disagree with you, how are they disagreeing? Is it very combative? Is it very argumentative? Is it very like, I'm right, you're wrong? Or is it very collaborative? We're looking for a collaborative relationship, right? So that would be the overtone of the entire interview that I would focus on. In regards to specific questions that I would ask, um, I have a weird opinion on this, and I'll tell you why. And this comes from somebody. It's almost been 20 years, thousands of home sales. I've sold more homes than 97% of all real estate agents out there, just because I've been doing this a long time. And so you could say like, who's the number one agent? Who's sold the most amount of homes? Who's born in like all the cliche things that we see on all the marketing? Like that could be a driving factor. I think hunger is really important. Somebody who's very motivated to sell that home. Now, I wouldn't hire a real estate agent that's broke per se, but somebody who like really wants into the market. They really love the listing. Maybe it's a new price point for them, for a bunch of different reasons. But you can kind of tell they have that chip on their shoulder for wanting to sell that home. Like there's a reason to make you happy. That's really important. The question that I would ask would be somewhere along the line is like, why is this listing really important to you? And just see how they answer the question. If it's like, well, I'm really trying to get to 100 sales this year and this would get me to 90, and like it's very on the surface, it's not a bad answer. I just wouldn't get really excited. The most important thing that I would be focused on is, what is the action plan that you're going to put into place that will drive the most amount of competition for my listing the first week on the market? right? Is there a well-rounded approach to how they're going to handle social media ads, how they're going to handle YouTube, how they're going to handle media? Sometimes real estate offices matter. Like sometimes it doesn't. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. To be at a real estate office that's like very heavily saturated in your market. Agents are very territorial. And I say that as a neutral way, not as a pro, not as a con. And some people are like, "Hey, I'm willing to share everything. Like, yeah, give me your listings. I'll put it out to my database." And some people are like, "No, these are my clients. Like, don't touch them. Stay away from me. I don't want it." And look, I get it from both ways, right? What are you going to do to drive the most amount of competition for my listing the first 7 days? Another question I would ask is, what is your plan if this doesn't work out? What happens if this doesn't go to plan? What happens if you do all the marketing? What happens if we do the staging? What happens if we paint? What happens if we spend a bunch of money in ads? The first week comes and we don't get the showings that we want. What is your action plan to recover, right? Part of that action plan could be a price, adjustment. Part of that could be, letting the ads breathe for a week. Part of that could be a manual intervention in regards to who they're like. There's a whole bunch of answers to that. And I don't know that there's necessarily a right or a wrong answer. But what we're looking for is two things. Number one, do you feel like they're being honest with you in the answer with this? And number two, can like the way that they describe this, can you tell that they've been here before? I'll tell you again, we're in fourth quarter in a market that's confused. It doesn't know which way to go. Like it could go right, it could go left, it could go either which way. So I don't want you to think that 3 years ago, you could list any home for any price in Carlsbad and it's multiple offers in 3 days. We're not in that market anymore. And we probably won't be in that market for a very long time. Negotiations matter, skill set matters, marketing matters, how you position the home matters. I would never list a home on a Saturday, by the way, or Sunday. Like even I would actually like Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I would never list a home on Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think that is a lost opportunity for a lot of buzz. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, no brainer. Every other day, absolutely do not list it. And the numbers today, when we talk about the listings later on in the video, they're going to reference that. I think on Thursday there were 6 homes to hit the market from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So 3 days there were 9, so about 3 per day. So that's good. Now there are some times when you just don't have a choice. The home needs to get listed on a Friday or Saturday. I understand it. But if it's within your control, never list on a weekend. It's a huge opportunity lost because all of the showings that are happening that weekend were probably already scheduled and that may slip under the radar. And what's going to happen is you're going to go through that whole weekend and then Monday through Wednesday, and it's going to be like, wait, what's going on? Where are all these buyers you guys said were out there in the market? Like it's crickets. When in reality, you just mistimed the launch of a listing. That's really important. So, do they have a reason to sell the home? I'd be focused on that. Number two, what happens if your plan doesn't work? Do you have a backup plan for that? Number three, I would ask, do they do this full time? Right? Some people I don't like to ask the productivity question, and I'll tell you why. Um, if you work with an agent that sells 300 homes a year, that could be a bad thing, right? It could negatively affect you because maybe they don't have the time, right? If you work with somebody who sells 90 homes a year but has no admin, that could be a bad thing. They may not be able to give you a time, right? If you work with a massive team that has 75 agents on it and sells 500 homes a year, are you just another listing in there, right? That could be a bad thing. Also could be a great thing, right? You could go both ways. Let's go to the complete opposite thing. If you hire somebody and it's their second day on the job, are they going to know how to go toe to toe with the other person, when the negotiations come to a head? Every single deal right now, every single deal right now is a battle. Every single deal right now is a battle. I coach a lot of agents across the country. It's not just our market, it's all across the country. Every single deal right now is a battle. And you need to understand that as somebody who's thinking about selling their home. It's a battle. So the reason why I don't think the production thing is a big deal is because at any production level, it could be a problem, right? There's no there's no sweet spot for production in regards to how many listings they have at that point or how many homes they've sold. What I would be more focused on is, do they have a plan to sell the home and generate the most amount of activity that first week? And number two, do they have a reason to sell that home? And then number three, understand that the day of a 6-month contract or a 1-year listing contract, and Carlsbad's not really important, right? Even with us, we give you an agreement to cancel whenever you want. We actually pre-sign it for you. We give you the cancellation agreement. I already sign it. All you have to do is sign it and send it back, and that listing, that listing is gone within 24 hours. And we do that on purpose. Number one, I want you to understand that we have skin in the game. And that if anytime you feel we're not doing everything that we can to sell that home, like you should have the ability to call our bluff on it, right? You should have some control over the process of like, hey, you had this agreement of, all these things that you were going to do. We don't feel you're living up to that agreement right now. And we feel there should be recourse for that. So we give you a signed cancellation. All you have to do is sign it, give us the reason, email it back. Listing comes off the market within 24 hours, and we part ways as friends. I don't know how many listings I've taken since 2007. February of 2007 is when I got my license. Well into the hundreds. I don't think it's been 1,000. I could be wrong on that, but probably pretty close. We've only canceled a listing twice, and one time just we knew it wasn't a fit from the get go. The client it didn't see eye to eye with us. It was very contentious from the get go. We went 3 weeks into it. We were way overpriced. Couldn't market the home effectively. He wanted out. We said okay. And then the other one was just straight up cold feet. 2 weeks in, we did it. We had a couple offers in hand. Seller just didn't. Homeowner didn't want to sell the home, and they said, "Hey, we want out," and that's totally okay. We have no desire to keep people locked into contracts longer than they want. Right now, there are some times when like weird things happen, and there's some exceptions to that. But at the end of the day, like we're only interested in win-win situations, right? So from a contract perspective, are they overly confident in the way that they sell homes that they're willing to say, "Hey, I'll take on all the risk because I've done this so many times. I've seen around so many different corners that maybe you haven't seen from before that we're willing to put our money where our mouth is." Like, are they creating safety where that's at? Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, we got a little call come in. Let's kill that call here. Okay, let's get into. We got 9 listings today. Before we get into that, we'll talk a little bit about how we can get that. Hopefully, Mindy, if that made a lot of sense, then let me know in the comments. If not, then let me know and we'll get in today's listings. Hey, let me interrupt this episode really quick and let you know that if you're thinking about selling your home in 2025 or 2026 in Carlsbad, California, and you want the cheat code of how to sell for a record price in record time, click the link in the description below. It's steveolsongroup.com/sell, and we'll give you the entire process that will make this super easy and equitable, even in a market like 2025 or 2026. So click the link in the description, download the guide, let me know if you have any questions, and let's get back to the episode. Okay, so we're going to pull in today's listings. Let's go back to the main screen here. We have nine since Friday. Now, if you guys were watching earlier in the live broadcast, I said that, and look, I know there's exceptions to this, and if you're watching this and you listed your home for sale over the weekend, please don't take this as a negative uh, negative, push to you. We really want to focus on listing Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday because we need a little bit of breathing room before the weekend. If you list during the weekend, there is a very high probability that you are going to miss that weekend rush and you're going to have to wait till the next weekend. I'm going to get to the stats here. Here we go. Let's close all these windows so we can keep this clean. We had 9 listings. Normally, we float like $738 per square feet. You can see that we're up $947, which probably means we got a couple, like, see the $791 square foot. That's going to bring the number a little bit down, but then we had some, that's probably a townhome. We'll have to see. No, that's not a townhome, not at 3,500 square feet, but at 2.8 million, give or take, at $1,800 a square foot, which is crazy in Carlsbad to say that we have listings at $1,800 a square foot. I remember watching $1 Million Listing New York years ago, and them saying that like, oh, I can't believe this is $1,500 a foot. This is crazy. Like New York can't sustain this, and now like you've got $10,000 a square foot in New York. So it's weird to say we're in Carlsbad and we've got homes priced at that much per square foot, especially when building costs are like $500 to $700 a square foot to build like a crazy home. It's pretty nuts to see numbers that high. So let's look at them. All right, we've got a manufactured home over on Cindy. I believe this is back. Yep, back in Carlsbad, El Camino, just by Cannon, behind Old Carlsbad. We saw one on Thursday of last week or Friday of last week. I think it was 650 something for 1,500 square feet. So this looks like pricing wise is right in line with that one. El Camino Estates, I think it was a different community last week. Super simple, nothing crazy about it. Community pool, everything looks clean. It's white, looks like it's in good condition, move-in ready. Very, very basic, very turnkey. Nothing crazy. We've got one over on Valley Street. This is probably right by Carlsbad High School. Valley and Valley, yep. There's Carlsbad High School right there. So right around the corner. $1,400,000. That's cool. Wide open backyard. Let's see if we can go see the lot here in a second. These homes are really easy. Not a whole lot of pictures. You know, you can tell that this is definitely going to be somebody who's going to come in. They're going to put a little bit of work to it. Professional pictures coming Monday. Again, this one was brought to the market. Looks like photos are going to come today, so that'll be a little bit different. Just remember that this home went through the entire market, the entire weekend with these 4 or 5 photos on it, and it's going to have to wait another few days before the market really catches up with it. Great area. I think that almost anything in this area is redevelopable. If that's even a word, I probably just made that up. And it's going to be pretty hard to get hurt on that. I think that's a good price, for that. So if you're looking to remodel a home or just, full blown tear, rebuild, or just take what's existing there and change it, I think that's going to be a great opportunity. Look at this lot size. I love these lot size, and you can tell, like, here's what's this one looks like. It's completely remodeled on Grand. Let's look where this is. Is this past? Yeah, it's at the very end. Oh, I know exactly where this is. Yeah, I know exactly where that's at. You got the train Yep. Right at the very end. I don't know that you're going to hear too much freeway right there because there is quite a bit and a little bit of a hill right there. So if you're worried about the freeway noise on that, I would definitely go drive by and see if that's an issue. This one does look like it was remodeled. You can definitely tell because the front lawn and the back lawn are super clean. I love this lot. And you can even see next door to it, even though there's a fence back here, you can see like what's possible. Like you can build monstrous homes on these lots, in the future if you want to do something like that. Definitely remodeled. I love the floors. I love the archways. Kitchen is not original, but definitely is not new. Super clean. Paint's awesome. You've got original cabinetry on the door. Looks like there's new doors on there. Looks really good. Staging on this was great. I'd love, like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine what I would do with a lot that big. I'd probably build like my own drum studio, maybe a pickleball court, soccer goal for the kids. That's a good home. And for 1,600,000 at 873 square feet, I know that seems small. Like there is tons of money in this in the future. So somebody easily could move into this right now, own or occupy it for a while, and then when they're ready to redevelop, move out, go rent something, and you got a ton of space to redevelop there. That's going to create a ton of equity. So I think that this is a. I'm actually kind of surprised that this one is still around right now. I think this is a huge opportunity. Maybe we'll go look at it later on today. Okay, we got a townhome. I love these townhomes. I think we talked about one of these a few days ago. This is just right outside of Tamarack. Yep, there they are. 2-car garage. Oh, this might be a 1-car or a 2-car tandem. Let's look at that. But I love these. Like cabinets are great. The lighting's great. The floors are great. Like everything about this. Move-in ready. They're super turnkey. You can live them up. You can live them down. And what I mean is, if you want to totally turn these into luxury, you can do that. If you want to keep it super simple, you can do that. Vaulted ceilings in the primary bedroom, which I love. The bathroom is like everything about these townhomes. I don't know who the builder was on these. Let's go see if it says. Uh, yeah, whoever built them, they did a great job. So if you're watching this and you're the builder of this, which I thought you're going to read, I love these townhomes. I think they're a great value, great location. You zoom out, you can see just a quick right down here and then over on Garfield, down Sequoia, and you're right there at the parking lot. This is a quick thing. You are close to the train track. If we zoom in right here, you've got all these townhomes right there. There is quite a bit of structure between you and the train track. They do blow the horn here, right there a lot, so you're probably going to hear that. But I think if you're living anywhere in this area, especially east of Garfield, you're going to hear that. Again, if you're worried about the train, I would go drive by, the property, see what, see how it sounds. Just kind of hang out there for a couple hours, have a couple trains go by. We've got that, like, we live right by a train track over by Poinsettia, and we hear it. I think it's white noise. Some people it drives them nuts. Some people it does not. So if you're worried about that or concerned about it, then just go hang out there for a little while. We got another townhome, same thing. Only difference between this one and that one. Oh, I was going to check on the other one to see if this had a 2-car garage. Attached garage, yes. Why doesn't it say how many? This must be a San Diego listing, not a North County listing. HOA fee, $478 a month. A big part of that is insurance. Yep, insurance, front yard maintenance, management, maintenance grounds, all that's covered. You don't have to worry about it. Beds, total top property attached, yes. Tamarack Beach, the currents. Yeah, it doesn't say. Probably says in here. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so that's 1,650,000 at 1525. This is 1,975,000 at 2265. I know that doesn't sound like a big difference square footage wise. That is a big difference. It will live totally different. That extra 5 to 700 square feet is a big difference. So full blown, and you can already see it. Right, kitchen's a little bit bigger, front room's a little bit bigger, porch is a little bit bigger. It's just, yeah. Again, great job. Vaulted ceilings in the primary. We got a little porch there. It's got a view. Vaulted ceilings in the primary bath. Huge walk-in closet. Vaulted ceilings in all the bedrooms. So it looks like there is this 4 bedrooms. That would make sense that it's 4. Yeah, 4 bed. That's great. Again, great job on those. I love those. I haven't been through. I've only seen pictures, but I think those are going to do good. Okay, here we go. Another 795, 791 square foot down in the Costa Resort. This may be a. Is this a partial in the Omni? Yes, it is. So these are a little bit different. You can only occupy this. I think it's like 61 days a year or something like that, 91 days or something like that. And then they can rent it out, and there's like a revenue share for what they rent it out for. I believe it's a 70-30 split. So the Omni takes 30%, you take 70%, which is great. And it does. Normally they list it down here. Don't quote me on this. It's like 60 or 90 days per year occupancy. So it's kind of like buying more of an ownership for a timeshare, but not quite a timeshare. And you get to collect the rent on the rest of the part of the year, which is really fun. My parents have rented one of these for a summer. It's great community, great kitchen. Actually, this looked really similar to what they did, what theirs looked like. They have a pony wall there that might have been created to create a second bedroom. Yeah, this is really close to the one my parents rented. I love it. The Omni's great. You can't go wrong with the Omni. There's great coffee in there, bunch of good stuff. So if you're looking for part-time residency, Costa Del Mar, number 679, that may be an option for you. All right, finally we get into the pools and we get into the views. You remember what I talked about last week? Like that first picture makes an impression. Good job on this one, because somebody who's going to love this home is going to love the pool. They're going to love the grass, and more importantly, they're going to love the view. Great job. Awesome entry. Oh, I love those floors. Those are cool floors. Love the black windows. Looks great. Oh, that's a great kitchen. Love the wood. Love the brass accents. That's unique. I haven't seen these type of lights in a long time. Good touch. Good marble touch. Yeah, good foyer. Good. Look at those vaulted ceilings. Good sitting room. Little dry bar in the area. Storage. Bathroom looks pretty cool. You're starting to see this a lot more. Super common of bathrooms that are the primary showers that have 2 shower heads and the tub in there. Very, very popular right now. Great floor. Like, there's not really anything to say about this that I would say that would be negative. Views are awesome. The pool's awesome. The inside looks like it was done really well. You're on the side of a hill. It's going to be really quiet. This looks like that is that the Omni? Let's look at the map. This looks like it's in La Costa. Yeah. Yep, that is the Omni right there. I thought maybe that might have been Aviara, but that's way over here. Yeah, that's great. Great area. Got floor plans. If you are selling your home, invest the extra money in floor plans. Trust me, it makes a difference. Even if you just use an iPhone app, they can map it. It gives you estimated things. It's really easy for people to see how livable the home is if you have a floor plan. So great job on that. Yeah, I love that home. It's a great home. Let's keep going. You know what I love about seeing all these listings, especially the last couple days, is you can tell people are putting in like really good effort to make sure these are positioned well. The only thing that I would say on this one, and it could just be my data right now, is the quality of the photos. seemed to be a little goofy. That might have just been an upload issue. So again, looks like original kitchen. Floors are good. Those floors are going to last forever. Clean. This is move-in ready. Good staging. Good, great freaking backyard. Like, again, I say great backyards. We live close to the water. I have no backyard. We have like a little, patio backyard. I wish we had a big backyard. This definitely has it. I think this is by the mall. Is that my? I'm not mistaken. No, it is. Yeah, it's not far from the mall, right? El Camino, just outside of Tamarack. Not quite at Calavera Hills, so really equidistant to Sage Creek High School or Carlsbad High School if your kids are of that age. 1,780 square feet, a million four. I think that's a great, I think that's a great option. Great location, great lot, homes in great condition. This looks like, is this Harbor Point? Yeah, you can Harbor Point. The architecture there is you can spot it a mile away. Very, 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 very popular community, especially if your kids go to Pac Rim or Aviara Oaks Middle School or Carlsbad High School. Again, great paint, super light. Floors are going to last forever. Vaulted ceilings. Again, if you know this community, that's a cool fridge. I don't know if that's a screen or if that's a see-through, but I love those fridges. Those are cool. Maybe that conveys, maybe it doesn't. Yep, every great condition. Again, totally move-in ready. Got a pretty big side courtyard slash patio, which is great. You've got the garage. And I think on this one, is this one in the back? Yeah, garage is in the back on this one, like most of them are. I think it's probably 50-50. Garages in the back versus in the front. I would actually prefer kind of like Brescia Ranch. I like the garages in the back. I think that's pretty cool. 1,400 square feet for a million two for 50. You're definitely paying for location, so a little bit more than the home that we just looked at in regards to price per. No, this is lower, cheaper. This is a good value. Yep, right at the outside of Harbor Point. So you literally come down this road, exit the gate right there, and go right over here. Poinsettia Park is right there. If your kids play flag football, Pacific Rim is right here. Um, so if you're into those things, you got young kids, amazing development. You'll love it. Everybody that I know, we know probably 10 people that live in Harbor Point. Every single one of them loves it. It's a great community. Very quiet. It's gated. Uh, can't go wrong with that. All right, that's it. Those are all of the 8 listings. I will put a link to all 8 of these listings down below. Actually, it looks like there's 9 listings that came on since Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you have any questions about any one of these listings, then I'll put a contact form below. Reach out, let me know what those questions are, and if I can help in any which way, help you decipher what's going on in the market, all of that fun stuff. I think the market as it is right now is going to be more of the same for the next couple of years. So if you're thinking about making a move in Carlsbad, one of the things that I would be looking at is, number one, do I know my non-negotiables? Number two, do I actually have a reason to make a move right now? Because there are opportunities to create equity and value in today's market. So we should talk about that. And then once you have a good idea of what you're looking for, it's just a matter of how we go identify where that home is, whether it's on the market, if it was previously on the market and maybe didn't sell, or if it's not on the market at all, and we need to go find that home for you. All right, my name is Steve Olson, Carlsbad Real Estate. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will post all these as individual episodes later on in the day, and we will see you live tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with 2 more questions based on what you guys are asking and the listings that hit today. Hey, thanks so much for watching this episode of the Carlsbad Report. If you have not already, there is a link in the description below to go to a page that looks just like this. We send one email out every single Thursday at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and it is everything that you need to know to stay in front of the Carlsbad real estate market. It's totally free. It's 1 email a month. There's no obligation. You don't even need to use us as your real estate team. I just want to make sure you're informed of everything that's going on, and you can unsubscribe anytime. So click the link below, register for the email. It's Thursdays at 2 o'clock. It's read by thousands. I know you're going to love it, and we'll see you on the next one. In the meantime, check out related video above or consider subscribing to the channel. All right, thanks a lot, and we'll see you tomorrow on the next one.